Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Well, you know, when it comes to Mondays, we need to talk relationships. Now, we've reached the end of another whirlwind year, and 2019, or as some of us have wanted to seize the year, have dubbed it 2019, was a year many wanted to conquer and achieve goals. Now, there comes a time for individuals and companies to take stock of performance, and this is often an introspective time of the year in which we reflect on what we've been able to achieve and what we would like to tackle next.
Absolutely. So today we're asking, have you achieved those professional goals you set for the year? Now, this morning we're joined by relationship expert and TEDx speaker Paula Quinsee to help us discuss this hot topic, and we'd like to hear from you. So send us your questions, your comments as well. Head on over to our Facebook page, drop a comment on the post, and we'll engage with you live. So welcome, Ms. Paula Quinsee, the only one in the building.
Thank you, ladies.
Good to have you on the show, Paula. I want to ask you first, just to set the scene, why is goal setting so important for individuals and for companies alike?
Well, goals equal growth. So by default, when we achieve a goal, doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is, we would have grown in some way, form or shape, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, skills, knowledge. There's been some form of shift. And so goals equals growth. So we need goals to be able to progress in life.
Hear, hear.
Do most people actually end up achieving those goals that they do set up for themselves?
Many do, but many fall short. And that's because we tend to try and change too much too soon or too quickly, and it can seem overwhelming. And often we look at the goal over there and we don't necessarily break it down into little steps around how do I get from here to here.
Yeah, and a lot of the times the goals are not only not achievable, but also not maintainable at the same time.
You know?
But how does one go about setting a goal that is achievable and that is maintainable?
So I think the most important thing is understanding the why behind the goal. Let's take a weight loss goal, for example, because I know a lot of people are going to be, you know, festive season, summer's coming, that kind of thing.
In March, 30th of Jan.
So it's, let's say, for example, I want to lose 10 kgs. We look at that goal as that's where I'm focusing, but we don't understand the why behind that. What is that going to give me when I lose those 10 kgs? I'm going to feel better, healthier, more energy, more confident. I can fit into those skinny jeans, maybe the bikini, who knows? So it's understanding the why behind it, because that's what gives us the motivation and inspiration to keep going. And then how do we break that down into a realistic time frame? You're not going to lose 10 kgs in 1 week, let's be honest. But how do you break it down into, say, 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it might be that's realistic to achieve that goal?
I think a lot of people were shocked when you said you're not going to lose 10
Yeah,
kgs.
sorry.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, but also, like, I want to know, so if you don't achieve those goals, like, how do you not be so hard on yourself? Because, I mean, you want to maybe lose that 10 kgs in 1 week, but then how are you not so hard on yourself?
And I think this is where that introspection that you spoke about you have to be really honest with yourself, and that, did I do what it took to achieve that goal? Was I focused? Was I disciplined? Did I set myself up for success by putting all the right steps in place? Or did I lose the motivation along the way and I fell off the bus and I'm like, oh, I'll start on Monday. I'll start on Monday, as we often do, and it never happens.
Yeah, well, we are chatting about setting goals, of course, for the new year, not only as an individual, but as a professional as well. So have you achieved the professional goals that you set out to for the year? We'd love to hear your questions and your comments for relationship expert Paula Quinsee. So you can head over to Facebook, you can drop a comment in the post, and of course we will engage with you. And after the break, I would really like to find out about the mindset that goes with putting a goal in place, because oftentimes the mindset is in a completely different place to where the goal is. So we're going to be chatting to Paula Quinsee a little bit more after this.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3 Expresso Morning Show. Now, before the break, we were talking all about relationships and how we can achieve goals. But of course, it is Monday and we're talking that hot topic, relationships. And today, relationship expert Paula Quinsee is in the hot seat to help us discuss importance of taking stock of your professional year and also setting goals for the new work year. Now, we'd love to hear your questions and comments. So head on over to our Facebook page, drop a comment and on the post, and we will engage with you. So thank you so much for still being with us this morning.
Thank you.
For not walking out. Paula, how important is the mindset? And I asked this question a bit earlier on. The mindset and the language that we attach to the goals that we've set for ourselves for the upcoming year.
So I think the first important thing is with the goal that you set for yourself, the big question to ask yourself is how badly do I want it? Because if you want something badly enough, you'll find a way to make it happen. If you don't, you'll find every excuse under the sun as to why it can't. And that's where language is important. You know, often we're our own biggest enemies and our own biggest critics. And we go, oh, this is too hard. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not good enough. All those kind of things. So it's very important to pay attention to the language that we use when we are talking about our goals, not only to ourselves, but to other people as well.
And the power of the mind in actually achieving something.
Absolutely. Visualization is a great technique that I use for my own personal goals, but also with people that I work with. Because if you picture something, if you see it and you believe it, you can more than likely achieve it.
Visualize that man, girl.
Girl, I'm telling you. But something I want to ask, why is it maybe important or maybe not important to have someone there with you along with achieving your goals? Is it for accountability? What is it?
Often accountability, especially if you know some of the areas that you struggle with. So let's say, for example, going back to the weight goal, we know that when that alarm clock goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, the options are I'm either going to roll over and go back to bed, or I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym.
They don't work for Expresso. But
And this is where an accountability person can come in quite handy, either as a training buddy, or maybe you want to sign up with a personal trainer so that you know that there's someone there that's holding you accountable. But equally so, how are you holding yourself accountable? How are you going to make sure that you're disciplined and focused? And this is where you can use rewards and incentives. You can set little rewards for yourself as you achieve every little goal on the path towards achieving your big goal. And at the end of it, have a really big reward to yourself for all that hard work and dedication.
I think we all know by now that the road to achieving any goal or to achieving success in general isn't always a smooth one. It's often very bumpy and riddled with challenges along the way. How do we make sure, what do we need to do to make sure that the bad days don't end up killing that dream in general?
And this is where we can look at sort of the sort of 2-3 key areas. The one is failure. A lot of people see failure as a negative, as a bad thing, that I'm a loser, when in fact failure is just feedback that something didn't work. So, okay, I had a piece of chocolate cake today, and the feedback is I wasn't disciplined enough. That doesn't mean that my goal is now ruined and I have to go back to square one and start all over again. It just means, how do I get back up on track? So look at the feedback. And everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes. Some days we have bad days and it's okay, but what do you need to do to pick yourself up and get back on track? Accountability partners, focused, back on your goals, all of those kind of things.
But how do we get back on track? Because like we're saying, New Year's is coming up now. People's going to start getting their New Year's resolutions out. But then we want to start the year off on a clean slate. How can we then do a step-by-step routine or process just to getting us back onto that goals?
Something important in terms of the goal that you've set for yourself, how realistic is it in terms of the time frame within which you want to achieve that goal? Some goals are short, some are medium, some are long term. Don't underestimate or misinterpret the time frame with how badly do I want this goal, because they're two very different things. And then accountability, how do you put yourself out there? You know, the more you tell people about your goal, the more people are going to hold you accountable. Because so how's the diet going, or how's the training going, or whatever it might be? Break it down into much more smaller goals. So it could be, if it's a 3-month goal, it's weekly, even daily, depending on how much detail you want to go into. Track and measure your progress, because often we're so busy looking in there at that goal, we stop and we don't realize how far we've come and just how much progress we've made. Little rewards and incentives along the way, and if you have a bad day, it doesn't mean your goal is now ruined. It's just get back on track and start understanding the feedback, why you fell off the bus, so to speak, and what do I need to do to get back on the bus.
Wow, I hope that you've made some mental notes. Our relationship expert, Paula Quinsee, in the house. Thank you so much, Paula. It is those small changes in life that leads to the big changes overall.